What are your views on Batman?
Well, with all literary characters, he has a very complex history. He's a complex character. It could be said that he was the first anti-hero.
Wow.
It could be said that he was the first anti-hero. The anti-hero basically being, the superhero, but, with
I thought anti-heroes kill Loki.
Yeah, exactly. It's the superhero with a lack of morals.
Right? Wolverine would be an anti-hero. Deadpool.
Exactly. Deadpool is kind of the staple. He's kind of the poster child for the anti-hero, quote unquote. But it could be said that Batman was the first anti-hero because he actually killed in his first few appearances. These characters, they're not a monolith.
Yeah.
They're not a monolith. What people have to understand, because, right, I see a lot of talk of, I'm heavy into comic books. I've been in comic books for years. When I was around 4 or 5, my great aunt, Wayne, love you, Wayne. She gave me a copy of Spider-Man. Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2.
If you still had that money.
Super bread.
She gave me a copy of Spider-Man 2 on DVD. I watched it. I was in love. I then proceeded to read Ultimate Spider-Man from then on. And from then on, I fell in love. And so I've been entranced and entrenched in comics for a while. I say that to say, all right, fuck with me here. Okay, what I'm about to say. These characters are not a monolith because I see a lot of talk on social media in the comic book fandom,
I've seen a lot of Batman slander recently.
A lot of it.
I've seen a lot of Batman slander.
Man, well, that's because of the new movie. That's because
Batman's
of the new movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say he's ass because he has no powers.
Yeah,
but Batman really.
Remind me what you mean.
If we're gonna be
Batman's ass.
Okay, but if we're
compared to everybody else, I'm not gonna lie.
No, but you're saying that.
I'm not gonna put him up. I'm not gonna put him up.
No, but you're saying that, but you're forgetting who had the contingency plan for the entire.
We're talking about prep time and contingency plans. I'm talking about prep time.
What about when that shit at your door?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait,
I'm talking about when you standing right there and that gun at your face.
In one universe, he literally killed the entire Justice League.
I bet you can't stop a bullet when I shoot you in your face.
I love the idea of prep time. That's a great stat to have. But when you really think about it,
I bet you
prep time means that
everybody
with prep time is gonna fucking win. If you give anybody a long enough time to solve a puzzle, they'll solve it.
No, but it has nothing to do with prep time. It was already prepped.
Because he took the time to do it. Just because this nigga's schizophrenic and he fucking plots on his friend's demise.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, he also set up a contingency plan for himself.
He can't set up contingency plans from people.
He's planning to snake his mans.
Okay, he cannot do that. So once you can,
what do you mean by
once you're Superman and you can literally get shot by a bullet and not die.
That's my thing. Like Batman's not beating that. The only reason, and I want to keep it real. All right, Superman. They gave him the kryptonite, whatever. How the fuck do they get all this kryptonite and fucking on Earth? Okay.
Yeah.
How the fuck do they find all this kryptonite?
It's an invasive.
Isn't kryptonite growing?
Mm-hmm.
It's an invasive material.
But how do they have so much to a point where
it grew when he landed?
Or are we gonna say because Batman has so much connections and shit with his money that he can get it?
No way. They made synthetic kryptonite. Actually,
and that's what. No, that's what.
How anything man-made affects Superman?
No, but that's what Lex Luthor was.
Well, see, this is the problem. This is the problem with comic book discourse. Notice how you guys just went through that whole tangent and not a single time was story or narrative or character brought up.
What do you mean by that?
There's all this talk of, you notice you guys are talking about, oh, how did he get this much kryptonite? Oh, but prep time. Oh, but what if it's at your door? Oh, there's a whole storyline where he killed Justice League. But it's like, tell me.
But it's not. You're saying it's the what if scenario, but that's not.
Here, right? What's your favorite Superman arc?
Superman what?
What's your
Superman arc?
What is your favorite Superman arc? What's your favorite Superman story?
Man of Steel.
Man
of
Doomsday.
Superman Doomsday.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have to say Red Sun.
Red Sun? How about you?
Yeah, I do like Red Sun. I'm not gonna lie.
How old are those stories?
I don't know. I'm gonna keep real with you.
They're pretty old. Really? What are? Not super old, but they've got some time to them. Yeah. And right, what do you know about Superman?
He's from
Krypton. Came to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And
he can absorb the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Allergic rocks. He's indestructible.
Oh,
He
just
can
don't
fly.
shit.
He has lasers coming out his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are his 3 superpowers. Super strength too.
What would you say are the fundamentals of Superman as a character?
He's
real shit. Real shit. I think he's there.
He's
DC's version of like a Captain America kind of, but not literally. He's kind of like that American.
He's a poster.
Even though he's not from
superhero. He's like what?
He's what every superhero.
He's a super immigrant.
Yes. If you envision a superhero, you envision his abilities and his.
Well, that's not fully true because you have to think.
No, he's the best possible superhero. Actually, that's what he is. He's the best representation of the best possible superhero.
Yes.
Well, when comics were first being made, a lot of the characters that were being created, they were made to basically be like in America's example with Captain America, almost like a symbol of like, oh yeah, like this is our country's like patriot.
Comic book superheroes are the new modern myths, new modern mythology.
Yeah.
The same way in the past there were stories of Perseus fighting Medusa or David versus Goliath. You now have Superman versus General Zod. You have Spider-Man versus Green Goblin.
Hulk versus Superman.
So you're saying it's our...
Basically what I'm saying is there needs to be a certain evolution to comic books in the way these stories are handled and told and shaped and formed. There's too much... Because what people have to understand is Superman was first published in 1938. It's been almost 100 years of this character. And what publishers and by extension writers, because they're the ones employed by these publishers to write these stories, the problem is that they're focused on just keeping the story going.
Yeah.
Just keeping the story going. Keeping the story going.
But not to cut you
There really
off.
isn't any more room for character development, right?
That's absolutely is. Absolutely is. Absolutely is.
So he could change his whole personality.
He can live forever. First of all,
I can reinvent. I can reinvent and reimagine the entire DC universe from the ground up. Right now, I can do the same thing with Marvel.
They did it with Young Justice, but then now they're
I get what he's saying though, because there's a point where you gotta like
you can reimagine it and then you can do it over again.
No, but that's why
he's saying that. Why can't they do that? But there was a point where they only had those superheroes and they had to just keep them going. You know what I mean? It wasn't always
they're doing
these superheroes. Not necessarily.
No,
because there's always new characters. There was always new characters getting created. The problem was that there's always new characters getting created because you have new creators and you have new shit going on, right? And they want to, and it's all capitalism. They want to sell more shit.
Now it's an abundance of characters everywhere you look.
But then, right, for every new character, you're still going to get a new Superman story because why wouldn't you? But it's going to be the same
now too.
It's going to be the same shit over and over
Well,
again.
that's not entirely true because
what is the purpose
going
of
back to
it can't be anything different. What do you want?
No, but going back to what I was saying before, there are multiple universes that exist within both DC and Marvel that enact basically what you guys have been saying the whole time. It's just that you guys have to remember.
Have you ever seen the Amalgam comics?
Yes.
For me, basically, I see it as mainstream comics, and then you have, like, the actual fandom comics. Because some of the comics you really would not know about unless you were actually, like, in the community like that. Or you just like the comics.
Yeah.
But, like, for example...
Like niche comics, I get what you're saying.
Like Marvel Zombies, for example, that was a pretty big thing in the community, but until Marvel What If did an episode on it, it didn't really hit, like, the actual mainstream. So, in a way, them doing, like reanimation, well, more the fact that they actually animated it, and them actually doing, like, retellings and rehashes of comics in the past, it's almost a way for the newer generation and newer people to comics to get into it.
Shit. He went a lot of different directions. My bad.
Nah, yeah, I like what you're saying.
I want to know what your problem is with them creating new stories that are the same. Like, nothing is different. What changes do you want?
Here's let me elaborate on that, right? Fans are fucking 90% of modern comic book fans are dense. You're stupid. You don't know a good story if in your mouth.
Wow.
Well, what I will say,
And you do not have the fucking capacity to write a good story that's imaginative, unique, or takes the concepts or fundamentals of the characters and spins them in a unique way because you've been getting fed the same shit by Marvel and DC.
Yeah, people's standards are a lot lower.